Hey, we are live at long last. Hey, 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 hey. Today is Tuesday, the 7th of August, 2018. Kosta's with us, the Astral Thief's with us, and Martin Liedtke and Martin Kenny are here. So thank you very much, guys.
Hi, Matt.
And just to say that the Astral Thief is also a Martin.
Get away. Hey, Matt.
Hush.
Best things
And
comes.
what an avatar name as well, Astral Thief. That's awesome.
I know.
But I am the Astral Thief, and
It's fitting.
you know,
It's fitting with you.
it's nice having a few matches.
Yeah, so-
Karen, everybody.
Yeah,
Really
Martin.
enjoying the sunshine still, because I've still got the sunny. I tell you, it's going to be 29 degrees tomorrow. It was touching that today, 27, I believe. It's been really fun.
Cooled right off, yeah. It was like almost jacket weather. It was about 20 degrees, 21. But it's coming back. The heat wave is coming back for sure.
I think they said it's supposed to cool down for the next couple of days.
Yeah, it is. We've got rain coming tomorrow, apparently, so it's needed. It's desperate. Like, I remember the day this started, this heat wave. It was like the end of, well, halfway through April, and we've had 2 minutes of rain, maybe, in that period since the middle of April. That is it. It's really strange how we haven't had fans and everyone's wasting water, willy nilly. It's really...
Yeah, I remember it from that as well, Martin. End of it.
Sorry.
So they're not worrying about water, are they? And we had really dry.
Oh man, there's been reservoirs exposing old settlements on the news the other day. There was one, I think it was in up in Cumbria, and it just dried back so much it exposed the village. It's the first time we've been seen in 90 years. So how come there's no hosepipe bans? In 1976, when this happened, I had a queue at the end of my street at a stand tap behind about 30 people with a saucepan to go and gather water for the day. This is how we did it that summer. It's really strange. Suddenly, no problems. Maybe it's all brought in on ships in bottles and containers. Probably.
What, and put in the rivers. Anyway, just like to say, Martin Liedtke and Martin Kenny, you've met each other, haven't you?
Yeah, we spent some time, quite a bit of time together. Yeah.
Yeah, we did at the convention, and got on like a house on fire, I think.
Yeah, we spend probably more time with you than most people, Matt. I would think we was always hanging out. That's true. Watching.
Just to say that the chat room asked on together and talk about history together.
Well, that's getting exciting. That's going off the radar. That is things that have come out this week again. Things just coming on so quick, but I'm like, how is this? It's like everything that I've gone for on a quest to try and prove, just suspicions at first, and then suddenly all the information to prove it just pours on me. It's like, how is this possible? And some of the ideas I've had have been seemingly so outlandish. Yeah, I've been proving them without a shadow of a doubt. It's just, oh, this is happening. It's just weird. Weird synchronicity is all I can say. Maybe it's just meant to happen. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, all coming together. The more sort of in tune you become, the more things happen, don't they?
Yeah, it's crazy to think in the last few weeks. Even things I'm thinking, people are bringing forward. It's just, we're all sharing ideas. This is the only way it works. It can't work as a singular thing. It has to be a group effort. For ideas to be put on the table, chewed over, this is how things are discovered. This is how we get forward. So that's what we've been doing, and just piecing things together, piece at a time. And then suddenly we all have like a whammy moment. And it's like, what? That makes sense. This must be what's happening. So, it's really, really cool at the moment. Wish I had more time is all, but it's all meant.
Yeah, I think that's how, that's one of the universal laws, isn't it? Energy flows where attention goes. So if you're putting all your energy into looking for answers in a specific place, then the answers are going to come to you because that's where your energy is flowing. So it's naturally going to come to you. Yeah, it's just a universal law.
Yeah, it seems to work this way, and not only with the information and the knowledge, Martin. It seems to be with just life in general. If you're being true to yourself, you know, good person, the universe just works out. As soon as you abuse that, that trust with the universe, it will have you back. Instant karma, slap. I find in the past. But that changed my life since I've been a flat earther.
Absolutely.
I thought rather a lot about what you said on the last hangout we had with you, Martin Liedtke. Get the right Martin. When you said that we had this really big flood in the 1800s. And I just think you're right, that we are the result. This is the result of that flood. And I just think so much must have got destroyed then. And that's where they're taking everything from, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. The pieces of the puzzle are there. It's the missing dead. It's the dates are all skewed. It's the anomalous buildings that we can't explain, seemingly sunk into the ground. There's the flat earth anomaly, which is from now on, if any globe people come to you, Karen, and say this is 500 years this globe been around, I'm afraid that's not true, because I got documents clearly showing that they're working on firmament fundamentals in their models, as in a dome above us, clearly in the 1600s, later 1600s. So not really. They're still thinking on flat earth terms. But this other document I got, Martin will probably, his eyeballs will look like that on his avatar. Have you seen it? But so much, I don't know, drowning in info, so I have to just prioritize what's most like useful to us as a whole, and just do that and try and trickle it out so as to not leave people in shock factor, because that can happen too. Okay, especially when you find out with the events of 1811 to 12, that causes shock to people's system when they find out that. Okay, that is pretty much the emphasis of the whole thing, I think, is the events of 1811 through to 1812, which is the New Madrid, Missouri event, Napoleon's comet, year without summer, and millions died of famine. Part of the psyop is the Irish potato famine, swept across Europe. They call it a cholera epidemic, but really there was an event. Okay, it took to the mid-1800s to clean this up. Some of the buildings we witness today, these colonial builds, they're from an earlier time. There's no pictures and no plans for any one of them, like buildings on Fifth Avenue, for example, mansions. So they're sunk into the ground. So these are pre-mud flood. They've had the dates altered, telling you they're mid-Victorian. They should be photographed. There was photographs around in 1840, but no plans, no photographs.
Martin, do you think this bit when we went, like, supposedly to the prairies in America, it wasn't because they were finding new land, it's because we'd been through this really terrible flood all over Europe and England, and they went there to get away from it?
Well, there's so many different tales. Look, when they said about Arthur's Comet, apparently 70,000 people sailed from Wales, didn't they, in a fleet to Virginia. There's that tale. But there is proof there is colonial buildings in America previous to the Mayflower. I believe the Mayflower and the story of Plymouth Rock, etc., to be a psyop. It just sounds like another fairy story to me. Okay, I believe the colonial buildings are this culture or this civilization, which we examine closely on my channel and other channels associated with me. We can examine this culture. We can recognize them almost instantly. They seemingly are not us. They're working on different fundamentals of physics. It's to do with alchemical science. It's to do with magic. It's to do with vibrational science, to do with the spoken words and invocation and manifestation using vibrational techniques. These people know this stuff down to a T. Only in the 1700s. Now, look, when I was a child, people who were around at 90 years old were Victorians. They were born in the 1800s. This is only a century before them. So it's sort of in the living time frame. This is not a long, long time ago. When you study it, these people are nothing like us. Seems to be a religious fundamentalist group taking over the entire plane, pushing globe models by force, it would seem, through this period. Not the Renaissance at all. And that is another psyop, I believe. It goes so deep. There's so many angles to this, Karen. I don't even know where to begin. But that's
what you just said sounded very amazing. Just putting it in a sentence there, Martin. That was brilliant. What do you think then, Martin Kenny?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always blown away when I see Martin Liedtke and other people who are, digging into the details about history. It's just fascinating. And so the evidence is there. So it's not like you can even argue with it because there are documents there that are synchronizing parts of the world. There's not one source. So the information is right there. And I've come to the same conclusion that for sure, our reality going back even 100 years pre 1900 is nothing like we think it was. Absolutely nothing like we think it was.
Right.
Everything we've been told about history, about geography, about science is literally upside down what the truth is.
Yeah. Anything mainstream knowledge we should avoid. So Tesla is the underground knowledge, isn't it? Like Tesla brought us free energy, blah blah blah. Got 100 people worshipping him in FB. Tesla is a psyop. They had free energy and antiquity. The level of technology way preceded us, I believe. So what I believe, Martin, is nothing new under the sun. I believe they play out the social paradigms over and over again each reset, clearing the stage and putting it back again. They clear up, which is why all buildings now in the last 70, 80 years are never made of stone anymore. They're always made of prefabricated steel and breeze blocks. So there's nothing left to wash away. So there's no evidence in the previous set. This is where we've bubbled this, you see. Who's building all this shit? We've noticed there's different civilizations on top. So we worked it out that there is a reset system. Okay. So it's been quiet for what, 200 years? Something to do with the solar maximum, maybe solar minimum, maybe. Don't know. But in the papers today, Matt, they're trying to use comets in the mainstream now, saying that there's one going to hit with the Perseus asteroid storm on the 11th to the 13th of this month. So next week, they say there's going to be an asteroid hitting. You see? Oh, God. Even they're jumping.
Yeah, like it's really fascinating, particularly yourself, Martin, and Bro Sanchez. Actually, I've been in touch with him, and we've been corresponding.
Yeah, I know.
So he's been doing a lot of work as well on looking at the details of our history. Obviously, different timelines to when you're looking. So I've been working on something which I think I've sort of hinted at with people, which is this. This is the cosmic wheel of time.
Yeah.
And I think about it at the convention, and basically I've looked at time and realized that obviously time is cyclical. It's not linear, like you're saying. There's always a reset. Things go around, and there's a reset, and then we begin again. We start again. Different ages, different cycles of time. So I think I've mapped it out based on ancient calendars, like the Mayan calendar from the Aztecs, the Dendera stone from the Egyptians, the Dharma wheels from the Indo cultures, the various Chinese medicine wheels and Indian medicine wheels.
Martin, I'm sorry. Is it possible just to, are you on your phone? Can you turn your camera the orientation the other way?
What? Turn it around.
Is it possible? Will it make the screen bigger? Because it's like your panoramic. No, not panoramic. What do you call it? Your picture frame, like instead of horizontal. We like horizontal, if you know what I mean. No, that's gone off now. Ooh.
Well,
sideways, I meant.
Replay Astral when you watch it. Martin, do you want to go back to your model?
Oh.
Let me do it this way then. How's that?
I'll just put it on you. Hang on.
Perfect. Nice and big.
Is that better? Yeah, sorry, I didn't set up to present this. I'm just doing it as an offshoot. Hopefully, you just get the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, a lot of the ancient calendars and clocks of time, I've studied all of them to try and see if there were any synchronicities, if all these ancient cultures perhaps knew something about how cosmic or universal time works, when the resets happen, how they happen, zodiac ages, the Yuga ages, and And this is what I've come up with. So I'm at the stage now where I'm trying to put in the pieces, because this is a 24,000 year cycle, and then there's a 6,000 year cycle within that, and then there's a 3,000 year clock within that, and then I've got a 2,000 year zodiac clock within each one as well. So now, by researching a lot of the stuff that Martin Liedtke is doing and Bro Sanchez, I'm trying to map and see where certain things happen. When did this mud flood happen along this cyclical timeline from the reset, or from when things began, all the way around, and where we're going. So basically a map of where we've come from over the last 6,000 years and where we're going into the future. And that's what this is.
Wow. Well, the synchronicities are not lost again tonight, because I just presented, which is something, one part of something I'm going to present tomorrow, which is a 1700s text, which is more or less showing what you got there. And I ain't even joking. Check the link, click it on the side in the chat there. Now, it's from a 1700s text. It's based with the firmament, but it gives you, it says the theory for ages, or something to do with possession of ages. And it gives you the 4 quarters, and it gives you each reset. So it's got like the Egyptians, and it's got the different peoples in each section. Maybe you could overlay it with that. It's from 1680. So that could be helpful for you. It's in the link by there. Keep that to yourself in the chat here for the hangout. You'll be able to find it.
Oh yes, please, Martin. I'd really appreciate that. Absolutely.
It would be so helpful. And the other one I got, it's crossover. There's some geosynchronism in it, but there's some when you go on. It's I got so many documents for astrological settings. So this is definitely what they're about. They're watching the sky. They're working out the cyclical pattern. You're exactly right. But I've got quite a few, documents to show you the paths as well of these projectiles. I should send them to you, Matt. That could help big time with this. I'm not joking.
Martin, you've seen them on the panel hangout, the one that's next to. You're on a phone. You might not see it. I'll try and get them. If you put them in, Martin, I'll email them to him or send them to him later.
All right. Well, okay.
Because I don't think he sees the side panel on his phone.
No, you don't get a side.
No, I don't.
Anyway, thank you for showing us that. Do you want to say a bit more about it? Because still holding it there.
Well, no, I wasn't going to go into too much detail. I'm working on a video presentation at the moment. I think I did that Cosmic Creation Part 1 video, and this is the follow-up. So I'm still working on that. There's just so many pieces, and new information comes to light, and I'm trying to fit it in and trying to see how it all works together. So I'm working on that video now, and hopefully it should be out. I don't know. I keep saying in the next week. I'm not going to put any more dates now, but I'm working on it.
Cool.
Cool. Amazing. You're saying thousands of years. I thought Martin said hundreds of years.
Each reset, but we don't know. We're just in one paradigm. We don't know exactly what's happening. I'm saying that we are locked in very narrow windows of time. The only furthest back we can reach is our grandparents. We don't know what's outside of these windows of time except for destruction. And that's what we got to do. And everything that is, it's a simple game, really. Everything, the information is scanned. So we got to wait for them to slip up. Or we got to be really discerning and really sneaky and know where to look and examine our sources. And that's what's been going on. So with this is like definite. We are really verifying this. And there's more coming out. I reckon the flat earth could be proved any day through ancient text. I'm not even joking. So yeah, this is coming along very, very nicely indeed.
Yeah. I mean to add on to what Martin Liedtke is saying there, there are many cycles. I'm talking about, yes, I've talked about the 1,000-year cycles, 6,000
cycle. Yeah.
But there are many cycles. We have cycles in a day, right?
Yeah.
Every 6 hours, sunrise, sunset. And then we've got cycles in a month, the lunar month. That's another cycle. And then we've got the seasons in a year. That's another cycle. And then every 5 or 6 years, they say there's another cycle. Then every 7 years, there's another cycle. Every 12 years, there's another cycle. Every 80 years, there's another cycle. So there are many, many, many cycles, and each of those cycles have different things that mark the beginning and the end of those cycles. And some of them are grander than others. Obviously, the bigger the cycle, the more grand the event is to end or begin that cycle. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is what astrology is. So a lot of the astrologists and a lot of the prophets from back in the day, when people said someone's an astrologer or a prophet, no, they weren't magicians. They weren't special people made from God. They just understood how these cycles work. And once you know how these cycles work, you can literally predict the future because there's nothing new under the sun. So if you get the information and you know that every 80 years something happens astrologically and there is a physical marker in nature or an occurrence, then you're able to predict that, and you're able to predict how that will impact humanity according to where we are consciously and technologically and all that. So that's what things like people like Nostradamus did. That's all they did. They made predictions based on astrological cycles, natural cycles, universal cycles, cosmic cycles. And that's what it is. That is what the magic is. Knowledge is power. Once you know how the heavens work, once you know how the universe works, once you know how the systems and the cycles work, then everything else falls into place. History and the future falls into place.
No, I 100% agree. I just funny you should mention Nostradamus. I've got plenty of books on him, and I went in search of his birthplace. I was at one town away in a place called Port Nouveau in the south of France. So I went searching for Narbonne. I went, basically, you'd think this guy being this famous would have like souvenir shops across the road, or they would have milked it, son. But it wasn't. It was a little nondescript house on the corner of a nondescript square. And apparently that's where Nostradamus was born. I was totally not blown away. All that traveling too. Yeah, I got a big thing about Nostradamus, and you're bang on. Yeah, you find out what's happening in the sky. You've got a key to it all, and this is exactly what I'm up to here, Martin. I think we can gauge what they're up to, what they got in mind, with what the knowledge they got, because they certainly know. Okay, about all this.
Martin, did you see, I don't know if you've seen Sun and Moon. I mirrored it from someone else, which was on the post. The star forts. Well, they're not actually forts, but what about them? They look like frequencies, don't they?
Yeah, man. He sent me that video about a year ago. Colm did. I presented it actually about a year ago. No, it's awesome. Yeah, they are something to do with blood floods. They are based on climatic patterns. There's water courses running through them, so they're using water energy. So they seem to be able to deflect sound waves. So are they like the stealth bomber of buildings? They're totally out of their time frame. They do not belong. We cannot pinpoint when they have been built. Not really, because there is seemingly one style of star fort, no matter if you're in Tartia or Mongolia or South Africa or South America, they are all identical. So obviously not all countries, being enemies, are sort of sharing the same plans, are they? No, it's just proof that there's one worldwide civilization at this time. And these star forts...
Hey, Martin, can I just say something? Did Kosta tell you that he was going to go and visit one soon? Have you already mentioned that? I don't know, because I was offline.
Yeah, Kosta's going back on holiday to Cyprus, and he's going to go and visit one. Go on, Kosta.
Yeah, I come from Nicosia, Cyprus, Martin, and there's a big one there. And after listening to you, I realized I woke up to the truth, because I don't believe that the Venetians built that they told us. So I'm going to look into it.
It's not these ones that just gone with the Gothic Greco-Romano. It's the time before this civilization that was wiped out early on. Is these people? They got exactly. They just call it Greece or Rome or Catholic. It's not. It's the one. Yeah, you can find Greek or Roman remains in India. So did Romans take over India? No, they'll say it was Hannibal. So Hannibal's building the same stuff, the Carthaginian. Do you see what they do? They just attribute anything to them classical education states, because it saves having to think any more about it. None of them are. None of them. All lies. So is Egypt as well. I don't believe that as well. I believe there's a different form of hieroglyphics. I've got a different form written down. And I believe that the story of the Rosetta Stone, we know about the Rosetta, don't we? The Rosetta Stone and the story of Napoleon's soldier being sent out to look for it and then finding it is a bit too much for the imagination, don't you think? But everyone goes with it. This is the translation. It's in Aramaic, I think Hebrew and a few other languages. So they reckon this is how they decipher the hieroglyphics that they tell us about today. But I don't believe that for a second. Plus, I've got another set of hieroglyphics. We're trying to work out what they're telling us. I don't go with that either.
Can I just say Flat Earth Dude has joined us. Hi, Flat Earth Dude.
Oi, dude.
Oi.
Happening, dude.
Oi, oi.
You guys are happening, man. I just jumped on.
Thanks for doing that with the LA thing, dude, man. You fucking brilliant doing that, brother. So happy you doing that.
Hi, Flat Earth Dude. How's it going, man?
Good. How you doing, Astral?
Just chilling. I've got
Kostas.
toothache still, so yeah, chilling.
The other Martin.
Hey, dude.
Hey, dude.
And Karen, how are you?
Welcome.
Sweetheart?
My darling. Flat Earth Dude. There's Martin, and Martin.
Astral. The Astral thief.
Yeah, I'm kind of a little slow on the conversation. I'll catch up here in a minute. I'll yield the floor for a minute, and then I'll probably ask a few questions.
Do you think these star forts possess some sort of, energy then?
Yeah.
Or that they receive some form of energy because of just the sheer shape of them? Or what?
They seem
What's
to
your
go
take on
very
them?
deep. One. And also, that compound, actually, the one you mirrored, Karen, back about a year ago, there are, if you look at them from above, they have basically lines coming off the points going maybe for hundreds of miles into the landscape. So they have petroglyphs attached to them. So these star forts are put on older grids. All of these grids interconnect with other grids of other star forts, so they're all connected. So they're all one grid system, and they're all working as a whole together, plane wide. And I noticed that they're all put on near water courses. I think they're put on. They all seem to put these things on what they call nodal points. You know, these key points on Earth where the veil is thin. They put churches on the same places too, and this is why they're building these civilizations, these important buildings, one on top of the other, on this specific spot. Don't have to be that spot. It could be over there, but they really need to put it on this specific spot. It could be electromagnetic. It could be something completely different. But I do notice the crisp packets will vortex in front of churches. So there's vortexes happening in front of churches. There's certainly something with the ground. And there's, as I said, most churches, apart from their necropolises, under them, they will have water courses running through most of them. You look into this, it's true. So they put them on water courses, and everything seems to be interlaced together. So the only thing I can make from that is this previous civilization had maybe some defense net or something set down that was that advanced. Star forts, maybe dissipators of energy. I can't see them generated as such because they seem to be more defensive. I think they either maybe something to do with stopping mud flows, but I'm thinking more like Jericho weapons, sound vibrational weapons. I believe they're using these quite a bit in the past. There's evidence for it. Vibration causing deaggregation of matter, or matter just to come apart. Or I believe these star forts could dissipate that. They go very, very low, you see. So they couldn't even come up with a wave from below it. I think it's along those lines. I don't think they're generating as such, but I think they can create a field. Does that make sense? Like a force field, if you like. Yeah, they're very, very technical. I've been studying the plans. They look like circuit boards, a lot of them. They look very, very futuristic at the time. You're like, wow, what are these people thinking? What are they doing? And as you know, they're all interlaced, one on top of the other as well, some of them. And they go very deep, and they all got stuff underneath, and they're all on older stuff. So, yeah, well worth digging into star forts. Endless entertainment, and so many to work
They're
off.
amazing, aren't they?
They're everywhere. There's one in London I discovered the other day, just on the Thames by Chatham Dockyard. But I got loads in Wales. We got one in Pembroke, apparently. Pembroke Star Fort. Loads of them, apparently, locally. So I'd like to get out there and see these myself, to be honest. Oh, yeah, brilliant. Love your staff.
Costa's going to one in a few weeks' time, aren't you, Costa?
Yeah, I'm going 2 weeks. I will send you some pictures.
Please, Kosta, let's have a look at what you can see. Yeah.
In Nicosia, Cyprus, it's a big one. It has 11 5-pointed edges, and it's 10 kilometers in circumference. It's a very big one.
Yeah, some are huge. Look at Valletta in Malta, the whole town.
Yeah.
Well, most of them are, but Valletta is just, you look at it and you think, who is building this stuff? These stones are huge.
huge, yeah.
Yeah.
So you think this goes before the Egyptians, before the pyramids?
You can't date stone.
It's older.
Yeah, can't date stone.
So you think it was a civilization before that or after?
One of the sets. You can see the ones really far back with like the fairy castles and stuff, you know. This place has been extensively mined in the past, it would seem. You know, the landscape has been ravaged by big machinery. The trees have been eradicated only in the last 200 or 300 years. Their excuse, the official excuse, is that they basically deforested Britain to farm more, okay, for the agriculture of the 14th century. So they cleared all of the forests, leaving just pockets. Makes no sense whatsoever. So I think trees stopped the flow of mud, or didn't help participate these events. I think trees would have blocked a lot of it. So they chopped the trees down. I've got documents showing them getting rid of these tree stumps, digging them up and burning them right across huge tracts of land. They're not making lumber for fleets. They're just getting rid of the forest. Very, very unusual. So I think that's part of it as well, to do with dissipation of energy. And they don't like trees.
No. Kostas, what are you visiting in Cyprus?
Yeah.
I'm from Cyprus. I come from there. I went to see my family.
Visiting family. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I saw Martin Liedtke's shows and videos about the Star Force. And I said, wow, I thought there were only a few in the world. And then I saw that it's everywhere, like hundreds of them. And it's all the similar thing. And maybe they were built at the same time, like he's saying now, from one civilization. And wow, I really want to find out.
Yeah, I bet you do.
And because they said that they built them like in a period of 3 to 5 years, because of the Ottomans who were going to attack Cyprus back in, I think it was 1567, somewhere there. And in 3 years they built all that thing, and that's impossible.
It's not. It's just that, you know, what are they're building these things? Okay, we'll just say for attacking armies, but I'm afraid like the ordnance of the time wouldn't warrant these huge reinforced concrete sloping ramparts. They only had like cannonball at very best, you know, shot in the early 1800s. They didn't get howitzers till halfway through the 1800s. Apparently, you know, they had big cannon, but they don't warrant these star forts. Cannons would just bounce off of them. So they really are for something else. They're not just defensive positions. They're not. I know they're not. So
didn't get a feeling they were forts at all.
No, you can see medieval forts all over Europe, and medieval castles, which they attribute to Edward, which makes no sense because it's to me, a dynasty, the Plantagenets, which doesn't even exist in a time frame that's in the post-blood society that's not really doing monarchies. That's just rubbish. So the castles is 650 in Wales alone. Why are they there? And why are they built? So they're none of them, not one of them, are star forts, are they? There we got 650 of them. So you can see the direct styles. Somebody's building castles in the set period, 15th, 14th century, 13th century, and these star forts from another time or another set.
They're older.
They're either reverse engineering it, because they got plans. I've seen plans for the Oxford Star Fort in the English Civil War. So there is plans out there, but I think these things are there already They sort of get rid of the mud, the slurry, one's on higher ground a bit, and sort of reverse engineer to find out what these things do. I think there's a lot more to them, definitely. And
Definitely, yes.
there's just too many, and the exact same style, no matter where you are in the world. Says it all.
Yeah.
That does say it all, man.
Mm.
I mean, that's no coincidence.
This colonial architecture will show up anywhere. Apparently, the British found it already in New Zealand when they arrived, so somebody's put that there. Same for Australia. I've been examining like Sydney's buildings. It's the same for the rest of the world. They're all large, exactly the same architecture. Even in Japan, guys, you know who's building this stuff? Apparently, the original occupants of Japan weren't even Japanese; they were Caucasian. If you dig up the answer,
Martin, those star forts were the same. They're the same all everywhere.
Doesn't matter, Karen, what country you're in; they are identical.
Doesn't matter,
Yeah. So that can happen, can it? Because countries apparently in this era, they're not communicating by telephone. They're not going to send a pony express, a guy on a horse from Mongolia to say Paraguay to go and share these plans. It makes no sense. So it just proves that this civilization that existed was plain wide, and it was a takeover. And they were worshipping very, very strange things indeed. Okay, it was nothing to do with anything we know now. It was a real weird sort of very evil, death culty, Mithra, ISIS type religion, but not. It's a completely different one. Okay, and it is all based on the sky. Well, the observations of the sky. I studied this picture called Melancholia, which sums it all up beautifully. She's a lady, an angel. She's looking up at a comet coming in to do its business, cause massive electrical discharge. And she's like, just basically devoid of time. She's completely aware, and beside her is a timer, an egg timer, some sort of clock counting away the time between resets. She's pure empathetic. She's like, doesn't bother me. But there's so many depictions would just scream this out of this era. They know in the 1700s what they're in. And I think the paradigm sold to us now of, you know, spinning ball models and all of the rest, people look into far too deeply. These people are very clever. They've had a lot of time to build all of this bullshit data, especially on the gravity and other things, all based on theories. As we know, they carry on spreading lies to our children, teaching them theories as facts. As we know, that stuff's going to carry on. But what happens to truth in our paradigm, people? All the news is fake news. None of it is real. And I tell you what, none of our paradigm is real. It's purely social engineered out of a handbook over and over again. The styles are introduced. The 60s, the miniskirt, Mary Quant. She was a member of the Tavistock Institute. There is not an aspect of our society which hasn't got social engineers' fingerprints on. And that is God's honest truth. Okay, nothing is what we think it is, and that's what we're doing here. We're finding out what we're doing here. Okay, and we've got the idea. We're on a flat plane, no spinning ball. Whatever else could be happening could be anybody's guess. But what we are finding out is we're on a reset system. Okay, and there are controllers. It is a creation. I do believe there's God here, and I do believe at this moment in time, he's sort of, if God didn't bother before, I think he said definitely is now. Okay, because this is the devil's playground. Everybody seems to be corruptible. Nobody is able to say no to flashy lights and glittery things for some weird reason, even though it's all bullshit. Superficial paradise, none of it means anything to you. All is real in your life anyway is your family, isn't it? And the people around you, and truth, obviously. So that's what we do here, I think, people. I reckon it's definitely coming out, everything. I don't know what it'll mean to society as a whole. But look, Martin, you were on telly this week talking about the moon landings openly as fake, okay? And they were running with it. Eamon Holmes was biting, okay? Now, I don't know about his monster wife, though. I can't stand it. But so it's out. I feel this is going to be coming out. The way that they respond to media, we post about comets, they post about comets. We post about some rubbish physicist, they'll come out with some rubbish thing. They always respond in the social paradigm to what the flat earthers are on about. And this is a fact, guys. We've seen it over and over again.
The patterns are pretty predictable at this point.
Oh, yeah. Guys,
Yeah.
that again. It is very.
It's astonishing.
What star will come out next? So it's Alan Alda, isn't it? Now off MASH. I do like him.
Maybe
Well,
maybe Alex Jones will come out.
What happened there? News, is that true? They pulled the plug on him. Is that just another?
Yeah,
Makes them look like because they're pulled that they're not controlled, give them a bit of credibility. Because
maybe attention grabber, maybe grabbing attention. You know,
I think it's I think it's a planned knockout.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, Alex Jones is real. Anybody that with that much of a voice is not going to be able to say what he's saying and live and breathe. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just they're going to replace him with somebody else.
Yeah, another like useless.
Another. Exactly. So we'll see, man.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I could put a different perspective to it. I'm going to sound a little bit radical and a little bit out there.
Good.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This is according to my research.
You can't be out there on this channel, man. No, you can't do that. Go ahead.
So according to my research and my findings, cut a long story short, as many of you know, I propose that there are 4 different toroidal realms on the Earth, 4 different districts, if you like, or dimensions. Now, each of these dimensions have got their own systems, their own cycles, just like we have cycles where we are now. Now, if you think of the 4 Yuga cycles, the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, the Bronze Age, the Silver Age, and the Golden Age, right? We've got 4 ages of consciousness, right? The Gold Age being the height of intelligence.
Yep, Golden Age of Kali. Right? Yeah.
And Kali, the lowest age. Now, each of the 4 realms on Earth simultaneously go through one of those ages at the same time. So right now, where we are now, we are in the Kali Yuga.
Yeah, man.
We are in the Iron Age, in this realm. The realm that is outside us at the moment, they're in the Golden Age. They're about to have their reset. But they've been in their Golden Age. But it's been a Golden Age of the last epoch. And please stay with me. I'll explain epochs when I do the video. But they are in an old Golden Age, in an old Golden Age paradigm.
Yeah, I get you.
And the last realm, which is the realm of Saturn, the Saturnian realm, they are also in a but there is more advanced again of the last epoch. The realm at the center, the one that we call Eden, they are one ahead of us. They're always ahead. They're always in front. So they are in the Silver Age. They're ahead of us. They're ahead of time.
Okay.
So, where we are now, constantly in this realm, when we say there are demonic forces, there are reptilians, there are satanic people, entities. These are not demons or anything. These are just the beings from these other dimensions that are in golden ages. They're ahead of us in the cycle of time. However, because of the Van Allen belts, the electromagnetic torus fields that open and close periodically, which I'll explain in a bit, they are unable to directly come in and influence us. So they've been doing it from behind the veil being the torus field. They've been using technology like the internet, something as simple as that, to give instructions and technology to our government. They've been colluding with our government. And that's what's been happening. So these reptilians, we say, oh, reptilians amongst us. They're not here in our realm. They are possibly reptilianoid beings that live in these other realms that are working with our government secretly, the hidden hand, the deep state.
Yeah.
So what's happened now, we've reached a point within our cycle where we're about to shift, right? This is called I forgot the word. Anyway, but we've hit a point where we're now shifting out of the Iron Age. We're about to shift into the Bronze Age, our Bronze Age. Hence, we're awakening.
Who don't shift their consciousness? What happens to them with the next stage? Because it's obviously happened, this leap, and it's accelerating, obviously. So what about the people who don't shift their body frequency to adjust for the new awakening? I mean, What happens?
Can I just say something, Martin? When you're talking, it's reverberating a little bit.
It's
Oh, is
cracking,
it?
cracking a
Down
little,
or
a little
maybe
bit.
you can throw up. Maybe car. You could do that.
Plug your
Let me see.
plug your headphones in, and
All right, let me just get my headphones. Give me a sec.
okay.
Sorry, the chat room is starting to write it. Hello, chat room.
Hey, chat room.
Hey, peeps.
Leah, Astral, Ute, Trouble,
Nice shoot.
Tommy Rogers, Flat
Yeah.
Fred,
Yay.
yeah,
Well, good
Alvin Bailey,
I wish I could show Matt these.
Caroline, Midnight
It's
Gardener,
nimble.
man. How are you doing?
Lee.
Okay, guys, how's this?
Okay, I've got to turn you up a bit now. Go for it now, then, Martin.
Now, how do I
Sorry.
sound now?
Sorry.
How's it now? Testing.
I
Epic.
think you sound better now, yeah. Bit quiet though.
Does it?
Yeah, you're a bit quieter now, but it's not reverberating.
How about now?
Ooh,
Okay.
I turned you right up. And I'll turn you down
How's that?
a bit now.
There we go.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I think
Is that better?
That's
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyway, go on.
So I was just saying that you know, if my calculations are correct, we're about to have something called a galactic solar event, galactic alignment, that happens every 3,000 years.
Okay.
So every 3,000 years, something called a galactic alignment happens. And this galactic alignment is basically literally a cosmic solar event. And what that means is there's going to be a certain time and date, which I think, and many people are saying a similar thing, is going to be in 2020. December 21, 2020, for 7 days, the electromagnetic torus fields are all going to open up. Literally. They're all going to open up. We're all going to see all the planets, all the suns and moons in our skies clearly above us. And at that point, all the beings in all the realms will be able to physically interact with one another.
This happens in the past. I know it have, because I've presented over and over again. I thought it was just allegory and these things are not real and these
it's real.
Manifest. And I swear to God, Martin, I could show you 100 different 1733 lead atlases will show you demonic entities on the realm, lizard beings and all the rest, and they are seriously messing with us. I mean, eating us, cooking us, ripping us to pieces. I mean, it's a different kind of anarchy. This is nasty stuff, you know? Let loose. Yeah.
No, you're right. They're not allegory. Those are literal things. No, I've also got research that that categorically stated. I mean, the Mahabharatas and the Vedic texts. I mean, they talk about these details.
Yeah, with the Battle of Arjuna and Krishna, they got the these there. Yeah, I know. So I believe it's true now, but I didn't at the time. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and just the evidence kept pouring in, and believe it or not, Arwin, the flat earthers, like, I remember this in my consciousness from before, and I'm like, hang on a minute, it niggles at me too, and then it just kept coming, and it's just beyond a shadow of a doubt, because they're the same looking sort of entities, if that makes sense, no matter where they are on the realm.
Absolutely.
Like the devil, some things that look like goblins, these little ones with the tails that could be like gargoyles on medieval buildings. The lizard beings, for sure, they show up all over the Middle Ages era. This one that shows up in a famous text called the Cosmographia, this guy, believe it or not, shapeshifts in front of this person who drops to the floor, and he said, this guy says, you were to be made queen, even though it's a dude, you're to be made queen, and your name is Liz. I'm like, what? I'm reading this in a 1498 famous text. Queen Elizabeth the second. No, it's just crazy. But it states that all members of royalty at that period will be given they're lizards as well, will be given the status of royalty to rule over people. So from that moment, in Cosmographia, and then something else I seen with it as well, I thought, yeah, this is happening.
Definitely. I mean, I'm again, it's open to interpretation, but from what I'm seeing, the beings that live in these other domains, in these other dimensions, these other realms, they are definitely humanoid beings. They are very similar to us. They're not like the aliens that we think they are. The animal beings you're talking about are actual animals. They're not humanoid. These are animals, like how maybe one of the beings from the outside world might describe a monkey.
Yeah, these dog-faced people keep turning up all over antiquity. I read into St. Christopher, the patron saint of travel, says on Wiki, he was a dog face. And you've got these other ones that turn up and they got really messed up faces. I thought that they just gone nuts on the gene pool. Okay.
Well, well, the way I explain it is that every 24,000 years, again, it's just a number I'm going to use for now because I'm using the natural cyclical clock, but it could be bigger than that.
Yeah, what else you
so
got?
I'm going to say every 24,000 years, there's something that happens that's called a cosmic reset, a reset for the entire universe. And when this happens, literally, a new race is seeded into the universe, a new race, and new lands are seeded from the center. This is what we call the beginning of an epoch. If some of you have heard that word before, what epochs? So an epoch is about 24,000 years. So every 24,000 years, a new epoch is seeded with a new race. Now, the outer realm, the one we now call where Saturn and Jupiter are at the moment, the last realm on the cosmic egg, that realm was the first realm. That was the Hyperborean realm. And they were the first beings that were seeded into the universe.
Yeah.
So there was nothing else. There was only one plane of Earth at that time, during that epoch. And they were the Hyperboreans. And they are said to have been dark-looking beings. Okay, I'll get back to that in a minute.
Cool.
The second epoch, after 24,000 years, a reset happens and a new realm is created from the center. Now, the center, the central axis, what we call Mount Meru, Mount Olympus, Mount Zion, is where the Olympians live. I forgot to mention. So there's a race of beings called the Olympians. They're always at Polaris, in pole position. They're almost like the guardians of the galaxy, the dust avatars.
Yeah.
Right? So the Polarians were the first physical beings. When their epoch ended, the next race of beings were something called the Lemurians. And the Lemurians are said to have lizard features. Now, when they say lizard features, I think that's been a little bit bastardized. It's not lizards as such. And I know this is going to sound controversial, but I think when people said they were lizard beings, they were referring to how their eyes were. If you look at Asian people, right? Right? You'd think you can see the correlation. I'll get back to that in a minute. The third epoch was the Atlantean epoch. Atlanteans, the Atlantis. And this is where we are. So this realm we're in right now, this is the Atlantean root race that live in this realm. We are Atlanteans, fundamentally.
Yeah, man.
And the race at the center, at the moment, the one that is in the current Garden of Eden now, that was seeded about 6,000 years ago, they are the Aryans. The Aryan race is the latest, newest race added to the universe. Now, the four races on Earth, the four main races, black, white, Oriental, and Indo-Asian, these four races are sub-races of the four root races in our universe. Now, I'm willing to bet that if we saw the Hyperboreans who live in the Saturnian realm, the last realm right on the outside, if we met them tomorrow, we would say, I see where black people get their features from. These people look like Africans or black people. The features are very similar. I can see where those features come from. If we then look at the Lemurians who live next to us in the next realm, we'll say, I see where the Chinese get their looks from.
Okay.
The slint eyes, that look, I see where they get their looks from, right? If we look at the Indians, right, the Vedic Indians, they are the original inhabitants of this Atlantean place. The Vedics, the Indians. That's the original root race from here. They're the original Atlanteans, which is why the Vedic texts are probably the oldest, not probably, are the oldest and most conclusive, because they are the original text of the original people of this domain. And then if you went to the center right now, at the center, and we met the Aryans, would say, I see where white people get their features from. Because the Aryans or Palladians at the center are the root race for the white race that is in our realm now.
Makes so much sense. And the Chinese are
So every once in a while, these torus fields open up, all these cultures mix together. There is a mix of cultures, of DNA, of whatever. That happens for a short while, and then the torus fields close up again. And all the realms get on with their lives. And then they open and close. So this happens periodically.
Holy fuck.
So right now, we're about to have that galactic alignment where that will happen again, where these torus fields will open and we'll meet our cousins, the Hyperboreans, the Lemurians, the Aryans, and there will be, you know, I don't know how it's going to play out, whether it's going to be a good meeting or a good scenario, I don't know. But I know for a fact that we're on the cusp of that happening. Hence all the craziness, hence the awakening that's happening. We have to wake up. They're preparing us. We're seeing it in movies. I nearly fell off my chair when I was watching Bright. Have you seen Bright, the movie? Will Smith?
I'm going to know.
Well, you need to watch that movie because they're talking about exactly what I'm talking about now.
Good God.
The other one was Doctor Strange, which is the Marvel movie. They allude to a similar thing.
Yeah, same.
Another one is World of Warcraft. I watched the other day. Exactly the same. They're talking about exactly the same thing. Another one is Avatar. Same thing.
Yeah, there's plenty of them. That film with Tom Cruise, that's a reset system as well. The place got inundated with mud, apparently.
Matrix. On the Matrix. Can I just say that the Horry Sheet Show has joined us? Horry.
Yes. Hey, Horry.
Hello, Flat Earth fam.
Hello.
Karen, Martin, and Flat Earth Dude.
God, you're still up there. Wow.
Horry, you know, something to say to Martin Kenny in a bit, but we're in the history bit at the moment, so carry on.
Carry on, please. I'm listening, and I wanted to ask you, what did you say about World of Warcraft? Because that's a game that I've been playing recently. What did they do with it specifically?
There's a movie that's come out on Netflix, World of Warcraft movie.
Oh, okay.
Where they show these. It's set in medieval times, and the trolls. Is it the trolls or is it the trolls?
There's orcs.
Orcs. Sorry.
Into Warcraft.
Yeah, the orcs. The orcs live in a different dimension, in a different realm on the Earth. Believe it or not. And there is a wall, a green wall, it looks exactly like the Aurora Borealis or the Aurora Australis. And these orcs are trying to get through to us, basically, so that they can conquer us. And they eventually find a way of coming through, and there's this big war between the humans and the orcs, and they're all trying to fight for power between the two worlds.
Wow.
So I think that is based on a true story that actually happened.
Wow. In that, you see the new film Godzilla? No, King Kong. In the new film King Kong with Samuel L. Jackson, right? They're in an island that is shrouded by mist, and they've just spotted it apparently. And when they're on there, the Northern Lights are presented. So this place is.
There you go.
Yeah, no, they're doing a lot. They've done it with the Amazon film as well. What's the name? Wonder Woman. They did the same there with the Amazons. They had the Northern Lights presented there, showing you that it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they do it so many times. I mean, in the movie Bright with Will Smith, again, these beings, these aliens, or not aliens, these human beings that come from a different dimension, they say, are also called orcs. Right? In this movie Bright.
Lord of the Rings
and
as well.
Yeah, there you go. You hear this orc, so they're telling us, they're repeating it. They're literally trying to shout it out to tell us. But anyway, cut a long story short, in one of the scenes, this orc, basically, he's joined the police force. they're trying to integrate orcs into the human society because the orcs have somehow ended up in our reality.
Right.
And they're here to stay, and we've somehow got to integrate, but there's a lot of racism between human beings and orcs. And this orc is the first orc to be introduced into the New York Police Department. And they're trying to combat racism. And this orc says, you humans don't get over grudges. Why can't you forget about what happened 2,000 years ago? That's history. You made a mistake. Let's move on. I was wondering why that was obviously referencing something.
Hey, Martin, your microphone is whacking out again there.
Sounds like you got a loose connection there.
All right, what's happening? Okay,
there
how's that?
Brilliant.
Mucho better.
Mucho.
Mucho better. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it was interesting when that orc said, "You humans need to forget." That happened 2,000 years ago. Stop holding on to grudges that are 2,000 years old. I thought that was a very interesting statement for that orc to make. So I think the powers that be are certainly trying to tell us something. And I think at the moment what's happening in government, particularly the deep state, is there is a vacuum. Because the lands on the outside, the Lemurians, the beings on the outer realm, they're going through their reset. They're resetting. They're about to go into their Iron Age. Right? So 6,000 years ago, when we had our reset, they came to us. They were the Anunnaki that came to us. And they did whatever they did, and then they had to go back to their realm, and they've sort of been controlling us secretly, the hidden hand from behind the veil. This is what we call the reptilians.
I follow you. I've thought of this, just research and stuff. It's a great. This is really good information. So, thank you for sharing.
No, that's all right. I'll go into details when I release my next video. But when I looked at it and saw the research, it's overwhelmingly. There's so much evidence pointing to this scenario.
It's so obvious. Look how fast we've technologically advanced so quickly. I think they've had this technology for a very long time, and they hide it somewhere, and then they just bring it out a little bit at a time.
Martin Liedtke or Martin Kelly. Sorry about that, dude. It's gonna pop out of my brain. If you've known, we've had Brian Forrester on with Marie Wheatley, and they've come across the elongated head people, which are about 5 foot 5. So which ones do you reckon they would be then? The elongated head ones?
I think they'd be the Lemurians. So again, we've got to remember that just like we have many different sub-races in this realm, so we don't have just the black, white, Indian, and Oriental. There are also the Arabs. There are different shades of black. There are different sub-races of black. There are Black Americans. There are Aboriginally blacks. There are Black Africans. They are just like we have, European whites. We have whites from different races, right? These outer realms also have sub-races as well. It's not just one race. So these Lemurians on the outside, they all don't look the same, obviously. They also have different sub-races that are also offshoots that were created when the toroidal fields opened over many different epochs. Wow. So there are many, many different types of races on Earth, possibly hundreds, if not thousands. But fundamentally, there are only 4 root races. I think if we get down to the right down to base, there are 4 root races: the Hyperboreans, the Lemurians, the Atlanteans, and the Aryans. And then everyone else is all, well, not everyone else, we are all sub-races of those 4 original root races. In the physical world, that is, obviously.
Cool. Can I show you something, Matt? Do you think that'd be all right, Karen? Yeah. Show Martin something, only quickly. It's just a couple of pages. Very what he's talking about right now. It's just, I think it might blow his mind. Let me just show you a second. Now, what I got right is, actually, I can't.
Don't forget to do application window, Martin.
Yeah, I have not hide. Oh shit! There you are. Can you see that, Martin?
No, you're showing
I can.
us now.
Can you see it?
Yep, I can.
So have you seen this before?
I have, yes, but I've not studied it in depth, but it looks familiar.
Yeah, well, it's 500-year old. It's got this anomalous thing down the bottom, which is connected to South America, and it's not ice because the land comes up here as far as the Tropic of Capricorn, so it's hot by Borneo. So what this is here, I can't say. So there's taken changes since this map, but it's definitely only 500 years ago. But got the Hippopodium on there, you see. Really well mapped as well and connected to Greenland. But this is what I wanted to show you, Martin. 2 secs. This. Now, this turned up. I did post about it. What you're talking about. And it might be.
Oh, wow.
It might be actually showing you what you're on about. It's the figure of the creation of the world in a 16th century text. Now, I can't make out the figures, but what I can tell you is it's a cube within a cube. Now, we know what a cube within a cube is. It's a tesseract. And that's our only connection to the fourth, or our only way of interpreting or presenting the fourth dimension. So they've got fourth dimensional physics on the figure of creation world. It gets better. Now, the next one is...
Hey, Martin.
Yeah?
Up in the top left corner of that last picture, it looked like the ISS, man.
Where by, bruv? Oh,
Go back one.
Yeah, there.
It looks like the ISS.
Yeah, well, you've got Pisces,
Anyway.
So they are constellations and stuff, but there's other stuff I don't recognize too. Like,
It just caught my eye.
But it's based on a tesseract, and the constellations are around the outside edge, but it's still dimensional physics in a 16th century text. And then they're dealing with figure staggering the firmament. So what this is showing, 16th century. So anyone who tells you in the future now, oh, they knew the Earth was flat, knew it was a globe for 500 years, it's just smashed. Because 16th century, they're still working very much on the fundamentals of the firmament. And this is called staggering the firmament. So I believe it means the workings of. I believe this is the course of the sun over our flat plane, because it says a sphere there. It's not the sun and the moon, I don't believe, but it's a luminary, and it's going on a course. I thought that was absolutely amazing.
Well, it looks like yeah, it does look like a sun and the moon, doesn't it?
Yeah. I got another thing to go with this, which shows you actually magnetic declination mapped in the 16th century. And I'm not even joking. How can they even do that? No, I'm not even joking. I'll show you now. So this is what I wanted to show Martin. You might find this very interesting, what he just presented. This is figure of the seasons and ages of the world map.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. And look at this in the middle, Matt. Not only is it the 4 sections, so like a flat Earth model, right? But it's got like each reset.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Damn.
All right, man. It blew me away to find this shit. But it goes deeper. It goes deeper because they're dealing with the firmament, so they're dealing with flat Earth physics. I'm not sure if it's exactly flat Earth or geocentric. This came up as well. Same sort of date, okay? But check this out, guys. It blew you away. It's mind-blowing stuff. And it's exactly...
This is awesome.
With what Martin is saying so well, okay? So it really does. Is this geocentric or is this our flat plane, okay, with an ice wall all around and another ice wall around? I believe it to be
absolutely.
Yeah. So check it out, okay? So you got...
Goodness.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
I done like a promo video earlier to say I'm going to present some of this stuff tomorrow because I've got more to go with this, guys. It blow you away. And I'm layering it on some projections that have been made to the magnetic declination on an AE azimuth. And something showing, guys. I think we might be able to crack it. I need to more time and get my head around it a bit more. And so tomorrow I'm going to focus a bit more on it. So 17th century celestial part of the world comprising 7th century concentric circles center of the Earth. So it's geocentric, but it's the sun going around this body in the middle. So it's definitely not we are spinning around sun madness. Okay. So quite telling. So that's a geocentric idea, but I think my good.
Martin, can I just say one thing before you unshare? Tell me, all right? Because I'll move the picture. Because you.
Oh, all right, then, sweetness. Oh, sorry about that.
All right. Tell me when you're going to stop screen sharing.
All right.
Sharing.
Okay. I believe this ought to be inside, you see, because it states here, right, less firmament. And the stars are inside the firmament. So everything you see there, including the planetary bodies, Jupiter and Mars, and the Venus and Mercury, and the Moon, and the Sun, Saturn, are all inside of the firmament with us. Okay? That's what that is showing, because there's the firmament.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
I know, wow. I know, wow. I know.
Oh my goodness.
I,
That's huge, man.
We've seen we've seen other depictions of that there.
oh, sorry.
Not that particular one. Yeah, that one there. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen it plenty of times actually when it's talking about flat Earth, showing maps and different things in ancient cosmology, and that's very representative.
Yeah, that's the Ptolemy's geocentric model.
Right. Ptolemy's one. So
Ptolemy,
everything's
Ptolemy. Okay,
with
great.
us then. Yeah, right. Stunning, isn't it?
Sanchez
Yeah.
has probably spoken about that too.
Yes.
Probably,
Yeah.
shown
A lot.
a clip of that, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. I love those pictures, Martin. Keep showing them.
So I was thinking early 17th century, 3 orbs, of orbit, the sun, theoretical, the sun orbs and the centers of the sun. So I take it that this is its path around a flat plane. I think it is, So it goes on. I can't wait to show you the magnetic declinations, because I can't imagine what science, and considering, all right, they mapped the world in the 1700s, but are they really doing technical, even showing vectors and declination points? It's just mind-blowing how much we don't know about this time, guys. So poles there and axes, but it's not a globe. So they're dealing on geocentrism, isn't it? Is that what it says there? Centris. Could be. So it's just theories, alternative ideas, but it starts with a creation coming out of what seems like a 5th-dimensional tesseract type thing, but there's something else interlaid in it as well. Sacred geometry. Looks like something Michelangelo would have come up with. So movements for the sun, and it goes into lunar movements as well. I found fascinating. So the waxing and the waning, and this one I can't make get a tail out of, actually. I was trying to work it out last night, but couldn't get my head around it. Like I said, guys, I got a Latin translation, French/Latin translation, German. So I can do a bit of translating tomorrow and try and find out what this stuff is actually saying, which would be a massive help, don't you think? But it is fascinating. Yeah. So it goes on, but I can't wait to show you those magnetic ones. They are stunning. This at the end, the last page, I found very interesting.
There's not a lot of text on those drawings. It should be pretty easy to translate.
Yeah.
What they say,
I'll manage myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else we got?
That one's a bit old.
That says, what does it say? Enus Loel Frater Marinus. So it's like a maritime fraternity. Oh my goodness! Yeah, awesome.
That's make this immortal, doesn't it?
Cordica.
Wow.
There's a lot of information on that just alone, man. Ooh.
That's like that's pretty good.
I know. I got some
What's the book called?
Sorry, let's just put it at the beginning. You can have them anywhere. I just put them into the chat sidebar.
Brilliant.
You hang out here, so you can just pick them up, just click them, and you can have them, obviously. Sorry?
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all right, thanks. I got loads of stuff. It's just obviously the time factor, isn't it? But I'll stop sharing now. Thanks, Karen.
No, I mean,
hope you enjoyed that.
Keep going.
When you
going.
I've clicked on now.
You're back
got loads of pictures like this and text. It takes an army to get through it all, man. You got a pretty good army going there, Martin. You'll get through it.
Don't fit nothing. We have a look at official narratives. Have you noticed? It just smashes them all out of the water. None of it makes any sense except for what we look into. That's why we can't trust what they present. That's why it's best to look for ourselves, find out if any of it's true. Like dinosaurs.
I never would have seen it, although I had this talk with you before, Martin, about the fact that I saw this great big thing in this garden, and it was in a really 1700s or something, like that we have in the streets with the pylon. The street wires, with the telephones on them, the pole. But this was a huge, great one, and I said, "Oh my God, it was in the 1700s," and you went, "No, it's much older than that."
5G of the day. I think they had it before. Listen, I think that they had communications I got so much evidence for these huge communication towers looking exactly like TV masts of the day on hills in antiquity, 16, 1700s, even earlier. Many I've presented. So I got a feeling that nothing new under the sun, right? Far more technical. I think they do a clever job of thinking we have never been this advanced before, as they, only in my youth, we had VHS Max videos to this.
Got that right. Yeah, we've never had any platform like this to do this stuff. Hey, speaking of platform sharing, Tearing Down Strongholds says if Martin wants some help doing research in translation, he's willing to do it. Yeah, man, definitely. I got a couple on my channel. Zalmox gives me an hand, and another guy. Anybody you muck in, just come over. I'll give you a hand, or give me an email. That'd be absolutely awesome. Like I said, it's a communal affair. Nothing. This is the tool. This is our tool, man. This is how we can pull this stuff together and really get down to the nitty gritty, man.
It's not wasted. Selfishness of self gratifications and bullshit, because that's not going to.
Just grab your whatever you love doing. Grab your piece and start digging in, man. Yeah, man. Let's pull it all together and
please. Yeah,
maybe in a year. I think in a year we could have it all figured out. But you are really pushing the envelope here. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, some crazy stuff coming out. Like I said, everything that I search for, it just seems to come. It's like, this is too good to be true. But in a lot of cases, it is. And that doesn't often happen in reality. Good and rare as concrete rock, shit. I mean, that rare. Okay. So when I keep discovering, it's like Martin said, it's like the universe is guiding me, and all of the people who are in on it, and they're all clicked to the sync as well, the hive mind, and people are finding these things and everyone's jumping on board, and it's the positivity that drives it as well, because we don't deal with rubbish here. We don't deal with arguments or talking about rubbish or people or whatever. We don't do that. It's about the information. It's about the knowledge and driving this forward. And as Martin says, I don't think there's that much time to waste. Let's wake them up. Let's just try and bring them back to the creator and get them to be good, normal people. Because when they lose it, they get scary, dangerous animals. I mean, 3 days without food would not be a safe place to be where I'm living. You'd have to ham up. But yeah, they are scary, panicky, dangerous people, the Matrix. They really are. I offend people with my presence, guys, because I'm a flat earther. They're they move back. It's crazy. Hey, Karen, you're going to love this. I goes into a video shop yesterday. He sells computers. This Asian guy walks in. I was like, what are you looking at, dude? He's like, oh, you won't be in. It's like, what is it? It's like, flat earth. Oh, really? Got my flat earth cap. Pretty on. Flat earther, mate. I has a look. He's looking at Martin last week on this morning.
No way.
He scrolls down. My face shows up. He's like, "That's you." It's like, "Yeah, that's me."
Yeah.
You showed up as well, because all flat earthers all linked together, and once you go digging one, they all show up. Well, you was there as well on the side. He's like, so he's watching you too. He's like. There's a guy in a shop getting really into flat earth, a flat earther, and they're everywhere. I guess it all the time. I guess cars beeping, people going like that. Flat earth. Like, yeah.
That's funny. That's awesome.
Everywhere.
I met two of them on Chat Roulette this month.
Yeah?
Yep, two of them.
I'm not shy though.
And for some reason, 3 beatboxers. Yeah.
They are cool boxers, you got to admit.
Yeah.
They're not right.
I don't know all that stuff they do. I can't do it. But there was a dude with a guitar, and he was beatboxing last night, and it was really actually pretty good. Like I don't really like beatboxers a whole lot, to be honest, but this guy, I was like, I almost got goosebumps. I'm like, wow. But yeah, it's been fun on Chat Roulette. I've been flat smacking in the Tesla, and it's been pretty good actually.
Yeah, you're always everywhere. You are, Horry. See you everywhere.
Hey.
The space station.
Wait, what's that, Karen?
I said he either sees you in your car or in the ISS.
Yeah, I'm either in one or the other, and I switch it up to switch it up in the stream. It's really fun, but it's been getting a couple of people looking into it. I'm even talking with the guy doing some business, and we started talking about conspiracies, and then it led on into like, well, I got this YouTube channel, but I was like, I don't know if you're gonna like what I talk about on it, and but he checked it out, and he's really digging it, and he's like, man, when you get that person that says, well, you really got me scratching my head on that. Oh, you really got me scratching. And we're talking like deep stuff, like space temperature and satellites, and how they're hoisted on balloons and all this stuff. And he knows a lot about things NASA related. So I'm working on people all over, whether it's my personal life or just people on Chat Roulette or YouNow.com. And it's been really fun because I've got, the background to show them all the stars, all the space cloned cloud pictures or the Saturn Cassini. And what my favorite question is, Martin? I ask them if they're a gamer or not. And if they say, yeah, they play video games, I said, well, good. I'm going to ask you this. And I pull up the Saturn Cassini video, and I ask them, so is this PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 graphics? And they're like, oh wow, that's they're like, that's PlayStation 1. I'll show you what I show them. Yeah, the PlayStation 1 is terrible graphics, And wow. What I do is I'll put it on this screen. I'll just do that for you real quick. And yeah, nice. Watch this. So I pop on over to the Horry Sheet Show. Now all of a sudden I'm here, and I'm asking them to watch this little animation while I sit to the side. And here we go. This is a satellite that went to Saturn's rings. It took HD pictures, as we were told, and it strung them together to make a video. And I say right here, paper thin rings, CGI moon. I said, is this PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2? And they were like, wow, that's terrible. I can't believe it's real.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That looks like
I like that.
Anyway, on the television, if they're going to show us something, it would look like that.
Cassini's so bad, though, isn't it? They actually turned it around to show through the hoops or through the ice particles or whatever. They change their mind every other week, and you see this pale blue dot in distance, and they say, "Live on that." That's the sum total of Cassini. Rubbish. Can't believe anyone buys it.
And then we caught him using the same CGI cloud animated, like the same CGI cloud layer on rotating Earths, CGI Earths. Yeah. By the way, space bubble. That's another talking point when I'm doing this. Oh, but in 2002 they used the same cloud formation. It has like this unique C shape They used it in 2017 or something as well, like a much recent version of Earth. So I mean, they're getting real lazy, man. It's terrible.
They do it to.
Well, I personally don't think they're getting lazy. I think they're doing it deliberately, if I'm honest with you. I don't think these people are stupid. I don't think they're idiots. I don't think they're making mistakes. They are doing this deliberately, and there's a game plan to it, for sure.
Last night, I know I'm not they're not really watching me, but I present these really old texts showing the human anatomy, but showing nerve endings and stuff. I got a butcher on my comments, 35 years, said nerve endings are not visible. Something else is going on. So I proposed, did they have CT scans? This morning on Google, the Google Dougal is literally a guy doing an examination on a body with it opening up and showing the inside of a human anatomy. I thought, what, twice in 1 week? 3 days ago, they put Mount Olympus and the flat Earth with the dome above it on the Google Dougal. I put it up this last week.
Saw that.
They keep responding to the flat Earth stuff. I'm not joking. It's got to be.
You're very right. It's funny. A few weeks ago, when I was doing some research on this galactic event and stuff, and saying, well, maybe I got the dates wrong, maybe it's not right, and for some reason I just kept coming back to the fact that it's going to happen soon. These tourist fields are going to open up.
Yeah, anyway.
And literally, I had a conversation with Santos. Actually, I had a Skype with Santos. We had a chat about it, and Santos was like, "Yeah, it's all making sense. It's all linking up." The next day, Trump announced his Space Force.
Yeah. Wow.
And I thought, wow, is that a coincidence that I'm talking about tourist fields opening up and space opening up, and Trump now announces we need a Space Force? Against who?
No, maybe the Asgardians.
So you're right. They always respond to for some reason. I thought the same thing, and I thought I was grasping at straws. But you are right. It seems like there's a give and take somewhere there.
Like you said, they're going to have the cleverest people out of MIT working for these people, and they're going to. So they're going to know and anticipate our psychologies. They probably study everyone individually anyway. So I think that they cleverly think this out, knowing that every flat earther's going to spot it. There's not one space thing we can't see a harness or something going wrong. And we know how it all works with the augmented reality and parabolics and the rest. So this, for us, it's easy to see, but they keep doing it.
I reckon the game is they are responding to us.
Yes.
So it's almost like they're saying, if we the people, whatever we find or realize, whatever truth we realize, at that point, whatever plans they had for when things hit the fan have to adjust to where we are.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So for instance, if we hadn't figured out that there could be extraterrestrial lands and extraterrestrial beings, perhaps their plan would be for that galactic event to happen without us even knowing that it's happened.
Would that make sense?
Does that make sense? All the chemtrails, they put chemtrails in the sky. We won't even know what's happened. It'll just be dark for 7 days. Just be dark. We won't know what's happened. Meanwhile, they're up there doing whatever they're doing. But because now we've outed them and said, well, we now know that, we know what you're up to. At that point, they can't hide it now because we know.
Look, all these adverts. There was one this week, right? My son said, oh, you're going to love this, Dad. Watch this. It was for Go Compare or something. When the sun starts blinking and some guys go up a ladder and fix it. It's a light bulb.
Well, there you go. Brilliant.
Just keep doing it. T-Mobile's new advert is not a globe. It explains.
I saw that.
On a flat plane. It's like
I saw that, yeah. Their flat earth advert, yeah.
It's like they explain technology on a flat plane. It's coming out. Paradigm's changing and time's running out anyway. I don't think they care anymore. Look, I don't think their tunnels are even going to protect them. If they got voids of protection they've been using for thousands of years, which the controllers very well could have, or go off this land to elsewhere, which I think they're probably doing, that they don't seem to be too worried, do they? They've been stinking the place up for endless years, so they know. They know. Exactly.
I'm beginning to think that there's a sorry, Karen.
I was just going to quickly say, after all those chemtrails, and then after them people saying that maybe we're going into an ice age, we've just had the hottest summer we've had for about 30 years.
No, I think the chemtrails, they're definitely, it's predictive programming. Yeah. And I think the idea behind the chemtrails, they're not trying to poison us or kill us or any of that. I think they're trying to get us used to not seeing the sky.
And I do.
So I think when this galactic event happened, their original plan was to have chemtrails in the sky, just clouds, where we can't see what's happening. We can't see the tourist fields open. We can't see we can't see Mars and Venus and all the planets in their full glory, like how we see our sun and moon, because that's how we'd see them, like many cultures say. And we would just think it's a normal day. It's a normal everyday, chemtrails. Yes, it's been dark for a few days, and we will be completely ignorant to the reality of what's happening in the universe. I think that was the original plan.
Martin, they haven't already done that to us then. That's what all this has been about for the last couple of years, where we've been so chemtrail. We don't have a sky. We just have smoggy. You don't think they've already done it, do you? It's already happened.
No, I don't think it's happened. No. I think, even if they did do it, I think we would notice. I mean, this is a huge thing. I mean, there's no way of hiding it. I think they'll try and minimize its effects and then give us some bullshit story, but they can't hide it. You can't hide a celestial solar event completely. No way.
You can't. People are spotting anomalies in the sky anyway, but it talks about what you're talking about in this book I've been reading, When the Sky Fell in Search for Atlantis. Talks
there you go.
about the work of Emanuel Velikovsky.
There you go.
Worlds Collide, where he says that, and it states the same in the Iliad, Homer's Iliad as well, and parts in the Odyssey. Check it out for yourself. Where
I've read that one. Yeah,
come too close to the Earth's surface. Venus came too close in the Iliad, rained petrol and ignited, and ionized in the atmosphere, and it was causing fires across the plane, etc. So it's in this as well, saying that the planetary bodies came too close to the Earth's surface, causing massive plasma events, ripping the place to shreds. So it's all in that book. It's really interesting.
That would make sense. All those electrical arkings that we've suffered.
Oh yes, San Andreas, not a fault line. Look at it on Google Earth, and it will show you the ribbons coming off, and it's identical to a whiplash of an electrical arcing point. I've done enough welding. I know this stuff works. Somebody sent me a picture of these large balls you see on the beach. Anyone seen these? Like large. Yeah. Somebody proposing, are they comets? But I thought, because when you do welding, you get these beads. They always fall off, steel beads.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was thinking that these steel balls could be actually beading off of large plasma events, which I think they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the event is actually, it started already. We're not paying attention. These fires we're seeing, everyone's saying, oh, they're being caused by the powers that be. They're not.
No.
They're not. That's what they want us to think. They want us to think they are the ones doing it. This is all being done as a result of plasmic activity in the electromagnetic field, because things are changing, because the frequency is changing. The cracks. Have you guys seen all the huge cracks all over the world? These huge cracks opening up. Have you guys seen these?
Yeah.
Just Google huge cracks. I mean, there was one big one. I think it was Peru a couple of weeks ago. It swallowed an entire village. This crack just opened. The ground literally just opened up and swallowed a whole village.
We had an earthquake here 2 nights ago. My rabbit went nuts. Me and my son were stood there looking at one another, thinking, is it a tsunami? Something's coming, because he's really good. He basically alerted us to the last one in February in Wales. And we Googled it. It said earthquake in North Wales 3 minutes ago. And then I Googled and I do a bit of research. Turns out there's been earthquake storms across Britain all year. Worst ever, apparently.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it started already. We're just not paying attention. I mean, a couple of was it last year, November? We had that day in most parts of Europe where the sun went red. Does everyone remember that?
Yeah, I posted about it. I really loved
the sun went red, and and they were told it's dust from the Sahara, which is just insane. And everyone just went, "Oh, okay."
I know why, because
that's madness.
It's not it.
It frightened my daughter. She sent me a picture. Went, Mom, what's happening? That's what my daughter.
Those are the signs. It's written in all the scriptures, the Bible. Look out for the signs in the heavens for my return, the return of Christ. Obviously, it's not Christ the person. It's Christ, the energy of, or the season of change. Christ consciousness. Yeah. Look out in the heavens for my return. So many people, we're not paying attention. We're not noticing what's happening in the skies, with the weather, but it's already happening. But definitely it's going to hit a climax, I think, in 2020. And everyone on earth is going to witness it. Everyone on earth is going to be a part of it. And it's going to completely change the paradigm of our reality. And that will mark the beginning of the new age.
Yeah, it already is. I can feel it anyway. Yeah. Everyone knows that something's coming and trying to make sense of it, and this coming out. It's wonder, like, it just puzzles me why the whole world just doesn't get grips with the truth. And they putting up a defense barrier. Is this Stockholm?
Yeah, well, when it happens, Martin, when it happens, those who are ignorant to the facts are going to be frightened to shit. People are going to commit suicide. People are going to, But once you understand, that's all we can do. We can't change it.
Going on this now, anyway, Matt. I looked on Google yesterday. There was about 3 or 4 bigger channels with like 20,000 subs that never talked about this before, which are now talking. So
it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's
I
opening.
mean, even in government, I've recently come across some information that someone sent me a fantastic document, anonymous, which I thought was a bit strange. But anyway, apparently, in government, in the world government, there is a power struggle happening at the moment because for the last God knows how long, the shadow government, like we said, has been controlling our government, the shadow hand, these beings from the outside world. And because they're having their reset, which is, what I was talking about earlier on, they've lost power. They're no longer controlling our government. So our government is now on its own. We're no longer being controlled. So it's almost like there's a power vacuum at the moment. And everyone's now throwing each other under the bus. Hence, we're seeing Hollywood. They're all accusing each other of things, pedophile, sexual this, spirit cooking. They're all throwing each other under the bus because there's a power vacuum. All of a sudden, the people that were controlling the hidden hand is no longer there. And people are wondering who's in control now, who's in charge. And Trump is sort of trying to take control, although he has no idea what he's doing, but at least he's not working for the shadow government.
No.
Not that I'm supporting him, I'm just saying that things have definitely changed, definitely, even in government.
You can feel it. Yeah, no, you're right. I know. Wow.
Yeah, so things are, things are. I think people don't realize just how significant a time we're living in right now. We're all stuck in our bubbles, including myself. But I'm telling you now, guys, this is just the next couple of years. We're going to witness things that are beyond our wildest imaginations. We're going to see things. We're going to live through things that, I mean, are beyond anything you can comprehend right now. And the trick is to prepare for it. We can't change it. Some of it might be good, some of it might be bad, but I know for sure I'm going to enjoy whatever it is because it's going to be an amazing experience.
It will be. I'm prepared. I'm prepared spiritually.
Yeah.
With stuff as well to survive. And just, it was always my plan to, when this happened, but I always had a bit of a concern of how it could help everybody else around me. But everybody else is no longer around me. So me and my son are going to be moving out of this. When the thing is, people in my area get really ugly really quick. And they do. And they're crazy on a normal day. So that's what my main concern is keeping them away because they'll be like zombies. They'll be horrible.
Yeah, I think that's the worst thing to worry about. I'm pretty sure nothing is going to happen nothing directly will happen devastatingly as a direct result of the event itself. But I think what could be devastating is how we react to what's happening out of confusion. Like you said, people will panic. People won't know what's happening. The sun's not moving. The sun apparently stands still. It doesn't move for 7 days. People will be like, what the hell is going on? And it's the panic of people not understanding what's going on that will create chaos. And I think the powers that be, this is when they're going to try and instigate their new world order out of chaos. Because out of that chaos, they'll come along when it's ended and they'll say, oh, we fixed it. We've got an explanation. As you can see, this happened, blah, 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 blah. We need to come together as one world now, one government, one army, one this, one that. So that's how our paradigm is going to change.
Everyone will buy
because that event will instigate that change.
Yeah. And
you said 2020, right?
2020.
That's what we think.
When that happens, man, I want to run around going, I told you it was flat. I told you guys.
Anyway, Karen, I got a bounce anyway. I got to go catch up with my day. All right, I bring in a love, but I have got a bounce.
Cheers, Martin. It was good chatting.
Bye.
Martin, are you coming? Are you coming to the camp?
What camp?
There's a camp that Feast is putting together in Kent in August, end of August.
End of August. Well, I'd love to be able to, and I'm a camper by nature. I could do with a break.
Awesome. I'll send you the details anyway, or I'll get in touch with Victoria and see if she can.
Maybe she
can send you the details. Yeah, because it'd be great. I really want to pick your brains and see if we can sort of
we look up,
put some pieces together.
This thing's coming along, and there's no denying it anymore. Like, you know, I walk around some days in like not shock, but just numb with the knowledge and looking around me, everybody just lost. They don't even know a good thing when they got it. They take everything for granted and they just drove by greed. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah, no, it's definitely happening. Good time.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Martin.
The flat earthers truly rock.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi, oi. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
oi, oi, oi. It's always lovely having you on, Martin Liedtke.
Thanks,
and
Karen.
very much appreciate everything that you do. And I know that you work really hard, and I know you're going through a lot. So it's much love from us.
Oh, thanks. I do try.
Mwah.
Hey, much love, Martin.
Thanks, Horry.
Cheers, Martin.
Thanks, Kosta. Make sure to take some snaps. Send them over to Flat Earth British. We'll show them. Make his snaps. Anyway, peace and love, people.
Yeah.
See you soon. Love, people.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Bye, darling. Bye, darling. Always lovely having Martin Liedtke on. Martin Kenny, I think actually the Horry Sheet Show has something to say to you.
Okay.
Oh, that's Martin Kenny. Okay, look, I wanted to say thank you for the ITV interview that you did. You put in, you said like one of the best things I could ever hope for somebody to say on mainstream anything. And that was, you know, a funny thing happened on the way to the moon.
Yeah.
You dropped that one, and you dropped the Astronauts Gone Wild, which certainly has to raise eyebrows as well. And it's much shorter. And for that reason, you know, pretty impactful as well. And the thing is, I talk about this when I'm flat smacking the Tesla. That's one of the things I bring up. And then last night I mentioned it to a young man that was really, he started off saying, oh, I don't know about the moon landing, but he believed everything else. The SpaceX, the car into space, the pictures from of Earth from space. And then when I showed him all the clone stamped, you know, copy pasted clouds, like he didn't know what to say about that. I showed him, talked about space bubbles, and you get these people where you could tell them so many things, and they might even be on your side about the moon landing, but why in the world do they believe everything else? You know, what is it in our minds that has people just trusting everything else when you already caught them in a huge lie? I don't get it. Yeah,
you're right. You're absolutely right. I think there are just some people that are not meant to be. Oh, thank you, by the way, for the kind words about the interview.
Yeah, you did a great job.
But I think there are just some people that that are just not meant to wake up to this at all, for whatever reasons. And we talked about this in the last show with Karen when I was on the last time, that there's a season and a reason for everything. There's a time for everyone and everything. So there are certain things certain people will wake up to. There's a certain stage certain people will reach. It's just a cycle of life. It's just a cycle of consciousness. And it's not that it's a race, it's just a journey. And we're all at certain stages of the journey. So for instance, you know, when you wake up to something, it's hard for you to fathom how someone can't wake up to it because you're awake to it. But to them, you know, for instance, when I became a flat earther, I couldn't understand how anyone can't get it because it's obvious, right? And then I became a vegan. Then I was like, I can't understand how any flat earther can't wake up to veganism. I can't get it because it's obvious. Then I became spiritual, and I said, I can't understand how any flat earth religious person can't see that spirituality is the true. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, when you say spirituality, when you compare it to the religious people, like my terms of spirituality are things like out-of-body experiences or energy healing. That's what I call my realm of spirituality. But what would yours be? How would you define spirituality and in terms of looking at the flat earth religious folks not coming on board? What's the difference there? What do you?
Well, religion externalizes creation and God. In religion, everything external. God is a he that lives somewhere there. Mm-hmm. We don't know where, just somewhere there, right? And the truth is in this book, in these scriptures. They're very dogmatic. It's very scientific, if you like. Where spirituality is internal. God does not have a face or a name. The creator just is. The creator is energy. Everything is internal. It's not external. When you're spiritual, you don't need a book to tell you how to be moral or to tell you what's right. You feel it. You speak to God or the creator or source directly. So spirituality is very much internal. Religion is external.
That's a great way to put it. I'm so glad I asked you that question, because that is a lot to chew on, and I'm totally on board with that. I can't say I'm a Christian. I will say that I think the Bible, as well as many other, or possibly all of the religious books, they have a lot of truth. They have a lot of lies. Yeah, and I don't want to offend anybody, but it's just a good way. It's a nice playbook for manipulating people, if that's part of their plan.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Lots of truth. I mean, I say to a lot of Christians, I love the Bible. It's one of my favorite books in the whole world. But I don't read it as a literal book. I don't take it literally. I don't believe in talking snakes and, giants having sex with humans and all kinds of crazy things that are in the Bible. No, of course not. But I read between the lines. I've learned to read it and see the message behind the stories. They're just stories. In the same way I'd read a storybook, Alice in Wonderland. I know it's not a literal story, but there is an allegory. There is a message behind that story. Mm-hmm. And that's all it is. All the religions, the Quran, the Mahabharata, the Vedic texts, the Avestas, all of them, they're all exactly the same. They're not literal. Yes, there is a lot of factual truth, obviously, but there's also a lot of lies. There's a lot of allegories. There are all kinds of things mixed in there. So it's just having the wisdom to be able to discern which is which one is allegory, what's lies, what's truth, what's fact. But the main important thing is to get the message. Get the message of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and that's why I'm more of a spirituality fan, I guess, is because I mean that knowing what's right, knowing what's wrong, that knowing it's people say it's your conscience, or it's that voice in your head, or whatever it is, it's some kind of form of communication. It's like some sort of telepathy, some message that comes through, and you're able to, if you quiet your mind. And the thing is, I'm gonna drop a cool thing for a lot of people right now. Like, the thing is to quiet your mind. The thing is to not let your logical brain get involved, or your ego, or whatever that is that muddles things from source or from God. I call it source a lot. That energy. So like, let's say somebody that can look in your eyes and tell you a lot about yourself without them even knowing you. Like I didn't know I could do this. Something happened in my life, and someone told me, "Oh my gosh, you're telling me that all of my Facebook friends." She was skimming through her Facebook pictures, and I started blabbing about all the things I saw about these people. Wow, you got all this nail on the head. And then she put it to the test, and I nailed it again. And it was weird. So I actually charged money for this. So then I didn't know anything about it. It's all intuitive. But what I've discovered is, like, if you're going through a hard time and you like pray, or you're trying to really, really fix your life, I mean, you're going to get the same information download, if you will, from a prayer and asking for the answers, as if you were to ever look at somebody fresh off the street. You're going to get an information download right away. And then you're immediately going to do what? Judge the book by its cover. What is this guy wearing? How did he shave? Does he smell? No, you don't have to. If you really get that information download and you leave your brain out, if you hurry up and write all that stuff down before you judge anybody, you'll be surprised how your gut instinct's going to hit a lot of stuff nail on the head. And I don't know, that's spirituality for me. Getting in touch with God doesn't necessarily mean that I need to go to church every Sunday and give tithe. And oh boy, different story, right? Oh, your microphone! Somebody's microphone.
Whoa! Somebody's microphone.
Oh, that's Martin. I think your microphone got jostled. What's that, Karen?
Who says what God's got planned for you? Creator, whichever you want to call it. Who says
I'm having a real hard time hearing you.
Yeah, Karen. You're breaking up, Karen.
I just said, who says what God has planned for you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not man. That's with Creator.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's my point.
I mean,
you
Well, here's the secret. Here's the secret that most people do not want because we're not ready for responsibility. God is not external. God is internal. We are all God. God is not an external force. If you want to know what God is, you'd have to destroy everything in existence, and that ball of light is what God is. All consciousness on earth is a fractal reflection of the whole. We're all drops in the ocean of God, all of us. So we're all looking for God out there somewhere. God is somewhere out there, when in fact God is right in front of you. Look in the mirror. Look at people walking on the streets. Look at the animals. Look at all conscious life. That is God. Now people will argue and say, oh, how dare you say that? You know, God is the creator. And I'll say to them, well, go and have sex with a woman and see how you create life. You are God. You're creating life. Right? If you're a woman, if you're a man, and you can create life, you are God. You can make stuff. We are all the creator. All of us. Every single one of us. So God is not an external force. And all the ancient cultures knew this. And people say, oh, it's all paganism. It's all spiritual Satanism. Oh my goodness, it's just crazy. But they knew the truths of all of these things, that God is not an external guy somewhere, some man in a cloud or in the sky or in a throne somewhere. That's just insane. God is just energy. Everything is energy. Consciousness is energy. Our souls are energy. Our spirits are energy. But it's intelligent, conscious energy. That's the difference. That's what science doesn't tell you.
Yeah, hugs, Martin Kenny.
I agree with a whole lot of that, and it's certainly something that I want to side with, and it makes a whole lot of sense. Some of the things that I've done are things that people should not take my word for, but until you do it yourself, and maybe you're going to even be as skeptical as I did. And once you figure out that we can do stuff like go out of our bodies and see what people are doing and tell them about it. Verify it to 100% like accuracy. I almost had the cops called on me one time because I really freaked a friend of mine out. It wasn't my intention, but they thought I was peeking in her windows. But the thing is, energy healing.
Person, aren't you?
I'm a what person?
Very sensitive person.
I don't know, because when it comes to another Reiki practitioner doing energy stuff on me, I don't really feel much of what they do. So, and I can't explain that. And I wish I was different, but maybe it's a defense mechanism. But the thing is, I'm able to do energy stuff to other people really well, long distance healings and things like that. So I don't know what it is. And I'm not saying I'm special. I'm thinking all this is with us. But if you're not flexing that muscle, you don't know that you're capable of it,
Yeah, that's brilliant. That actually ties in with my next line of research. I was talking about all the root races and stuff, and I've come across some information that talks about how some of these root races on a conscious level had different gifts, if you like, during the different epochs. So, for instance, the Lemurians were very telepathic beings, some were telepathic, some were extremely intelligent, some were extremely strong. So they had all these, if you like, superpowers, telekinesis, all kinds of things. So they were saying that obviously in this realm, our consciousness, we've reincarnated many times over. So just because I'm in this avatar, this Hyperborean avatar, if you like, it doesn't mean that that's my original root race. I've been all the different root races over many different incarnations. But ultimately, there's an original root race that you incarnated when you first began your journey in this universe, right? So a lot of the mystics, they used to say that you can tell what root race you were from by your gifts. We all have gifts. So for instance, know thyself. You always hear that term, know thyself. Mm-hmm. For instance, myself, I am extremely intuitive. Everything is very intuitive with me. I feel things and I see things very visually, like the cosmic egg stuff, and I put it to paper or I write it down, and it's very, very visual in my mind. And I can't explain how that happens or how I do it. It just happens. I've got a friend who, oh, well, you're a good example. You're talking about being able to astral project, leave your body. You're able to feel, you're sensitive to people's emotions. So that's a gift. I can't do that, but that's something that's unique to you. And then there are other people who are doing things like telekinesis. I've got another friend, Rahul, who's doing amazing things. I mean, he's lifting objects off the ground and floating them in midair. I mean, you've got to see to believe it.
Does he have a
and
YouTube?
I can't understand. He does. Yeah, I'll put the link up.
Please.
He's doing incredible things, just mind-boggling things he's doing with matter, using chi and energy. So all these things are manifesting because we're now starting to find our true selves. We're starting to open those portals, those channels of who we truly are and what we're capable of. It's fantastic. So don't be afraid of those things. If you can astral project, practice it, do it, and go with it. No matter how crazy it sounds. When I first started getting all this cosmic egg stuff, extraterrestrial realms, I thought, how on earth am I even gonna start talking about this? Even in the flat Earth community, no one else is talking about this. Everyone's gonna think I'm a shill, or I'm a troll, or I'm crazy, or I'm making stuff up. But in my heart of hearts, I knew it was true because I could see it clearly. I just knew it intuitively. So when I put it out there, and there were many other people who were like, you know what, I get it. I've seen the same thing, or I felt the same way, or I've got a very similar model. That was like confirmation. And that's when I realized that, there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. The spiritual side of things is starting to manifest within this physical reality, which is amazing.
Yes, there's lots going on. People, I call this the time of awakening. Look around. I mean, we have information at our fingertips, in our pockets. We can learn anything we want now from reaching in our pocket, grabbing our smartphones. We can connect with people. All this face camera stuff that we thought we would have a specific, camera phone base in our house connected to our landline. No, we superseded all that. Now we can see our friends and our family right here, right now, live stream anywhere. I mean, geez, it's the speeding up of everyone learning and everyone, being able to discover this information to then discover their true self, or, discover this podcast to hear what you just said will go a long way. It's really planted a lot of ideas into my head. And I've heard Know Thyself before. Wasn't that the thing on the, correct me if I'm wrong, but was this on the overhead of one of the doors in the Matrix movie when Neo's going to meet the Oracle and it was in Latin?
Oh, yes, it was. Yeah.
All right. Deep.
Yeah. He asked her, what did he ask her? He asked her, oh man. What did he ask her? He said, is this a dream? Is this real? And she said, do you know what that means above your head? And then he turns around and then he says, know thyself. And then she says, exactly. There's your answer.
Oh, I got goosebumps, Martin. Ooh, that's interesting, man. I got goosebumps are my spiritual sign. And
yeah. So he was asking her if his magic powers are real. If what he's able to do, is it real or is he just dreaming? And she said, know thyself. There's your answer. In other words, yes, of course it's real. You just need to have faith in what you're doing and how you're doing it and what you're finding and the journey you're on, basically.
And who you are and how powerful you are.
Who you are, how powerful you are. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
awesome.
brother.
Oh man. Hey, look, I gotta go cook for the little ones. But dude, we're connected on Facebook. I'm Harry Sheet on Facebook. And
awesome.
Yeah, if I need to talk or want to mention anything, if you just know that I'm Harry Sheet, man. But I love what you do. Keep it up. We're all doing what we can do in our own capacity. I don't have the brain to do what you're doing, but what I do is I talk about what you're doing. I show it on my show, and I try to condense my show is just a way of me saying, hey, look at so-and-so, look at this video. Hey, look at so-and-so, look at this video. And instead of watching the whole 40-minute video with the 3-hour podcast of that guy or this channel, I just curate it and I condense it. I show you maybe the highlights. If I took the time to watch the 4 hours, I'll show you like 5 minutes of it or 2 minutes of it.
Brilliant.
And tell you, hey, go watch this. Go check out Martin Kenny. Go check out Glowbusters this week. Go check out. And so, do what you do, man. We're all doing it. And I urge everybody in this chat before I go, like, do your part too. And you know what your part can be? Using your fingers to share this link to your favorite Facebook group, thumbing the thumbs up button on the video. Like, these are things that you can do. Or start telling your friends and family. That's my favorite. Tell your friends and family. Get somebody that you're close to and mention it to them. Show them ODD's documentary.
Don't freak your family out, though. Don't freak them out.
Don't freak them
brilliant.
out.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Karen.
Don't let it all at once.
Yeah. Don't burn bridges, right? Don't burn
bridges.
But no, hey, Flat Earth dude, see you later, man. Martin Kenny, thanks again, and Karen, I love you so much. You know that. And Kosta.
Oh, love you too.
Right.
Did you? Hey, before you go, Horry, did you like my part 2 of your Fiverr.com video?
I did.
Yeah,
you've been pulling the best of my stuff, and I was gonna do that myself, and I still will plan on doing it because now that I have the Tesla equipped with the censored TV screen, I can get on chat roulette, and you got to go through a lot of guys naked on chat roulette before you're gonna get to a real conversation. So I got this screen up, and then when they finally accept and I feel like they're cool, I'll the TV, and once that's like getting consent, it's so perfect now and it looks great. So all the newer stuff, boy, let me rack up videos like this. I'm even going live for people who want to see this. I generally, what I do is sometimes I stream it live, sometimes I'm not in the mood to go live and I'll just pre-record it, but what I'm doing is taking highlights. But if you want to see it live, when I do, go to Flat Smackers, one word, Flat Smackers live, and you'll see me in the Tesla meeting random people in their living room. I have no clue what they're about to hear. And I flat smack like a boss. So it's so much fun.
That is so cool.
Yeah, Martin, it's so much fun. It's hilarious. And yeah, check it out sometime. Much love, everybody. Thanks again, Karen. I love you so much. You know that. My flight.
Cheers, Horry. Thank you. It was great to meet you.
Thanks.
See you.
All right. I'll see you out there, man.
All right. See you later, dude.
Thanks, my darling. Hey, been a very interesting.
What I like about Horry so much is he's hitting a younger gamer generation.
Yeah.
I'm a little old to be busting those guys, but he speaks their language, and he's bringing those kind of guys in, which we need. We need those kind of guys because they got really good computer skills. So thank you very much, Horry.
Absolutely.
We can't all do the same thing, and it's so interesting when we listen to you talking about all the, each one doing their bit and doing it differently. It's great.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, I'm actually enjoying the flat earth scene at the moment because you've got the whole street activism. I mean, that's a whole big thing that's exploding at the moment. People are getting braver and going out and putting the word out on the ground, on the street. So it's almost like we're not relying just on technology anymore. We've got feet on the ground, which is just phenomenal and awesome. We've got camps and meetups and all kinds of things that people are doing. People are writing books now, children's books. Eric debated one recently. So it's just fantastic that, it's branching out, and it's not just certain people, a few people doing it. It's like everyone's coming together and everyone's doing their own bit, and every bit is just as important as the next.
Yeah, and it's nice to hear, people in Martin Liedtke or even Horry, exciting times.
Absolutely, yeah. And the different angles, like you're saying. Some people have talk shows like yourself, Karen. Some people are doing research, like Martin Liedtke and myself. Some people are just in chats and just, putting in information and helping out, like all the other guys on here. Some people are on the street. It's just awesome. It's just awesome.
Like me, I get to drink the beer.
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it, man. Horry and I get to drink the beer.
Yeah, may as well be you, Flat Earth dude.
Might as well.
Someone's got to do it.
I'm about the stars and the moon, man. That's what I'm all about. And
awesome. Brilliant.
Stars, wherever you want to come. That's my thing.
Brilliant.
It's been a really
I was just going to ask.
Talk. Oh, carry on.
Oh, sorry. I cut you off, Karen.
That's all right, my darling. You go for it.
Oh, I was just going to ask. You're just saying about the sun and the moon. I was wondering what kind of how do you think the moon orbits our skies? Well, what's the movement of the moon? What's your take on that?
It's like an electric rail that somehow it just moves along that rail, man. I don't know if it's a dome or if I don't know, but it definitely is so predictable. You know,
do you think it
has to be mechanical? It has to be.
Do you think it's circling the magnetic field, like going around it and spiraling, or do you think it's zigzagging across like a sine wave over the dome?
I think it quite often does like a heartbeat. I think I've seen it come in. I've seen it sort of going west slightly, but going south. Then it stopped. It seemed like all the stars that are with it brought it with them back north, and it kind of dropped off, and then it went west. I'm not saying it wasn't even going slightly west, but it was going suddenly more north than west, and these stars were coming with it. And then I'm not saying the stars don't move; that the moon moves faster. So off it went, and then the stars slowly went off. And even if it changes where it is in the sky coming up on the east, it always goes on this track, the other side of my house, south, and it goes past. It never, ever goes over my house. It
you know what?
Up with a track, no matter where it comes up, at an angle. No, I don't see circling. I just see it doing like half triangles. But then it meets this track, and then it comes over the sun and the moon.
I'm not sure about the sun, but certainly the moon. I think, I'm coming to the same conclusion as you. I've been monitoring the moon recently, and it doesn't look like it's circling. It looks like it's doing like a sine wave over me. It's going over. It's going east to west, if you like, and then on some night it goes north to south. It's not actually circling. It's going.
Yeah,
it's oscillating.
It's actually going. It's starting to come up much more north. Well, a couple of years ago, it was coming up here, and then most of this year it's been south of my house. And this last sort of 3-4 days, whenever it is, it's been coming up quite north. So whether that's bringing a weather change or I don't know, because we can't. Well, we won't stay like this forever, will we?
No.
Been very Mediterranean this summer. That's the kind of weather we've had. For us, that's what it is. It's been so hot. But I don't really want it to go. I just wonder what that moon's doing. Oh, suddenly it's going up there now. Oh, I haven't seen that for months do that. So
I'm just going to say, brace yourself for the coldest winter on record. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, cool.
You think so?
Yeah. Brace yourself. I mean, this winter is going to be like nothing we've ever seen. Mark my words.
Thanks for that. I'm really looking forward to it.
Because everything is being magnified, obviously, because everything is oscillating. If you think of it like a sine wave, that wave is getting larger. It's oscillating much larger. So the weather, our consciousness, everything is oscillating extremely. Hey.
I think it's changed a little bit. I'm not saying it's not doing the same thing, but it's doing it at a different time now. This year to last year, the moon and the sun all slightly different. The sun is so even at 7 o'clock, it's really high up in the sky. Like what? I'm not sure if I remember this.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, everything is going to be extreme leading up to 2020, like I was saying. It's going to be oscillating at very, very high frequencies. The weather is going to be, summers are going to be super hot, winters are going to be super cold, or it will change the other way around, and winters will be very mild and summers will be very mild. One of the two.
Well, we haven't had a summer like this for about 30 years.
Yeah.
But the other interesting thing is even hotter in Denmark, and Denmark's a lot more north. Well, according to that map, it's a lot more north where it is. But and I know that my daughter-in-law comes from Lithuania, and for about 6 weeks of the year, they go up to the Baltic Sea. On Google Maps, it shows you that it's ice and icebergs out there. They go there to the sea. It's over 40 degrees for about 6 weeks, 2 months.
Wow.
Well,
Wow, look at that.
a lot more north. So I just
Wow.
think the whole of where we live, there's hot places and cold places and hot places, and that's why you have Everest in a hot place, but there's hot places, and I just so we don't quite know what's up there, do we? Really, they keep showing you it's ice.
Oh, it's definitely not ice. I mean, I've also got pictures of the North Franz Josef Land. I found some images and pictures, and it looks tropical. The further up you go, the more tropical it becomes. And it just reaches, I think it's the 85th degree parallel, where no one's ever really been. No one's ever really gone beyond that. Mainly because they say that the electromagnetics of the North Pole messes around with machinery. But yeah, the furthest anyone's been, that Franz Josef Land in Greenland, it looks tropical. It literally starts to warm up, and you can see trees in the distance. It's insane. It's insane.
Do you know what I found really amazing on research? Although I can't say that every year they get it like this, Greenland, but I was looking at some pictures on Greenland, and it came up in July, and they were in shorts.
Yeah,
in Greenland.
Yeah.
They maybe had
Yeah.
a nice summer, but it's like, hang on a minute, the temperatures they're saying they could get are the same temperatures that we could get. It's just that we
Yep.
never really get them, except this year we have. But I was thinking, okay, it may not be for 6 months of the year where we might be lucky like this time, this weather since the end of May. That's amazing for us. But they may have it for a month or two. But it was a lot warmer there than, or could be, than I thought it was going to be on Greenland.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of strange things happening. And not just strange, I think even historically, there are a lot of things we're not told about many places, obviously. But yeah, you're right.
Have you seen pictures of behind Greenland then on the beaches? Because my friend lives obviously in Denmark, and a lot of people may not know it, but Denmark has sovereignty for Greenland and for, oh my goodness, there's another island above the Shetlands. It's out of my mind. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, they've got sovereignty for it, and these islands can, Greenland and the other island can go to Denmark for education. But I saw a map, and I was trying to say to my friend, well, what's up there then? And she just said, well, there's vegetation up there. And I was thinking, yeah, looks like you can go up there, because it wasn't as icy as the actual, they've got with a beach around it.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though
I
it's
mean,
roaring.
when we were when I was planning on going on that trip to the North Pole, trying to get to these center lands a couple of years ago, we obviously did in-depth research on as much as we could about the North Pole, and we were just shocked to find how much information there is. We found this guy who's a local who lives there, and we're asking him about a place called Upnevik, I think it's called. It's like one of the most northern cities up in Greenland. And we were planning to leave from Upnevik, because from there, you can't charter a boat. No one will take you any further than that, literally. Like, people are not, you're not allowed to, not that you're not allowed to, but they tell you that if you go out there, because the electronics don't work, you're on your own. So if you're lost, you're lost. No one's coming to rescue you. So obviously all the guides with their boats don't venture any further than that. But we were asking and saying, well, has anyone ever tried? And he was like, well, people have tried to go there, and they say it's just a forest. Literally. We're like, forest or ice? And I was like, no, forest. So like, how can there be forest? It's supposed to be the North Pole. And he just shrugged his shoulder and said, oh, maybe they got it wrong. Maybe they got it wrong. I was just like, this is insane. This is madness. Like, no one's ever really questioned it. And it's like, nah, there's nothing there anyway, so it's just forest.
Can I just tell you that on research from the past with Google Maps, it stops in this place in Russia, and it's got loads of trees coming. What I mean is there may be green and hills, and then suddenly the trees ramp up, and then it stops.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's definitely lands up north for sure. I mean, that is not even something that I debate anymore or think about, or it's a fact as far as I'm concerned. There's too much proof for it. I can't even begin, to express it.
Yeah, because you can't. We can. Yeah, we're not really allowed to know somehow, are we? We're living in. We don't even know what we're really. Not really.
Yeah, we're in the dark ages, Karen. We are deep in the dark ages. I mean, beyond belief, beyond belief. I mean, the reality of our reality is far beyond any movie you've ever watched.
Our whole life comes up like a computer game, like virtual reality on a computer game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remembered what the islands are. They're called the Faroe Islands. They're above the Shetland Islands. They're sort of.
Right, yeah.
They're sort of, if you go Iceland and just go down to your right a bit, you'll see them above Shetland. Well, those islands look like they should be on, oh my goodness, Lord of the Rings. It's Lord of the Rings land. That's what they look like.
Yeah.
And only onto this island in certain places because it's so, the whatever's there is so high.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again,
it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
As well, when we looked at pictures on there, it doesn't, that island, my friend says in Denmark, they don't actually have any trees on them, not naturally. Any trees that are there have been brought over. So that place had no trees. But they were still wearing shorts. That's above the Shetland Islands.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating. I'm looking forward to the future. I think it's just going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. As time goes on, every day is like a new mystery, I suppose. What we're going to learn today. It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I've got to shoot off now. Call it today.
Oh, Martin. I hope Martin enjoyed today. It was a very interesting talk. Everybody, amazing. And thank you so much for coming on with Martin Liedtke, because the chat room, you asked for this.
Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
And we'll see you again.
Yes, definitely. Anytime, Karen. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all.
Hey,
really appreciate it. Yeah.
Great, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, really likewise. I really enjoyed it. Look forward to the next one.
You a kiss.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Night.
Yeah, good night.
Cheers.
Bye.
Well, Flat Earth Dude, I don't know if Kosta's there. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was great. Ton of information. Really good presentation with those pictures and those maps. Amazing.
It was, and different perspective and so forth, different research. Amazing. We have been going for 2.5 hours. We can end if you like, Flat Earth Dude. Should we end?
I'm good. I need to get going here pretty quick. I got to go out to dinner tonight, but yeah, I'm good. I need to rest up a little bit before dinner. I had an early morning. So yeah.
Like, just to explain, we're back on Thursday. Looks like we've got Joe Hill, Paul on the plane, Mike Helmet, and Plain Truth wanted to share something, which I hope he'll email me, and maybe he'll be there, and Stan. And then on Friday, we are going Spanish. So we will have Oliver Ludlow, Alex Conspiracy Guru. I've asked Lucy Lemons, and who's the other person? Oliver Ludlow, Alex. I can't think. Oh yeah, Paul White. He's the clean hands guy. So it's Spanish night on Friday.
I love Fridays.
Yeah, there'll probably be a bit of Spanish while they're doing it, and they'll talk so fast we'll never get it anyway. But so that's the next couple of hangouts we're having. Thank you so much to everybody in the chat room. It was a really nice hangout, and it was nice putting Martin and Martin together. And Dude, thank you, Kosta, thank you, Astral. Who else has been on? Thank you, Horry Sheet. And a big Flat Earth hug from us, and we will be back on Thursday. So goodbye from us. Thank you for watching.